just because you're not doing what people are doing on the internet does not make you any less of who you are. Hi friends, what is up? Welcome back. I am so glad to see y'all, as I always am. I don't know if you may or may not have caught the post that I made before this video was uploaded regarding what the next video will be about. Obviously, you know from the title what we're talking about today, but I kind of gave a little disclaimer that I was going to talk about something different than I normally do. While I love talking entrepreneurship, making money, business goals, and all of those good things, there are some things that do need to be talked about that are very near and dear to my heart that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about. And that has to do with a lot of the mental battles that people go through, whether it is mental illness or just some things that have to do with this current society and generation that are taking a toll on people mentally and showing up in their lives, in their businesses, and just kind of sending people on a downward spiral. And obviously today we're going to be talking about what these social media influencers and even entrepreneurs and business owners don't really tell you what they go through behind the scenes, behind the stories, behind the feed. And it is a lot that people do struggle with mentally, especially influencers, that they won't talk about because it's not a part of their platform. It's not a part of their message, unless they are, you know, influencers who are advocating for things like this. They don't talk about it. And I really wish it would be normalized that you can talk about these things, because a lot of people deal with it behind the scenes and you never know when you speaking up could help somebody else. Today's video is going to be talking about FOMO, the fear of missing out. Before I get deep into any, you know, more personal mental issues down the road, which we will get into, not in this video, but eventually, I just kind of want to ease into them. I want to address the things that people are, you know, afraid to talk about, or people that don't even realize they're battling these things can finally be brought to their attention in a more positive way, in a more safe and comforting way, I hope. But before we get too deep into this video, if you are new here, don't you forget to go ahead and like and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. You're gonna wanna catch more of the gems that I drop on my channel every single week. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for rocking with your girl. I am so glad to have you back, and we're just gonna get right into this video. So as I mentioned, I'm a huge advocate about talking about things that people are afraid to talk about, which is your mental health, where trigger warning, I will give this in the future every time I feel like I'm talking about something that may, you know, trigger somebody, but there will be talk about different mental battles like anxiety, depression, even suicide, traumatic things that's happened to you, PTSD, things we're talking about today like FOMO. I even want to talk about things like the imposter syndrome. There's a lot of different topics that I just want to cover that I feel like people need to be more educated about and aware of them. Even if you don't deal with them, just be aware that, you know, you never know who is dealing with them, and you kind of just never really want to treat somebody in a way that you wouldn't want to be treated, because you don't know where they're at mentally. And it matters. It's very, 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 very important. Back to FOMO. Let's talk about this. What is FOMO? FOMO is an acronym for fear of missing out. Well, Raven, I've never dealt with that before. I don't miss out. I'm unbothered. Lies. So many people deal with this and they don't even address or acknowledge that they're dealing with this because they don't want to seem like they're bothered. They don't want to seem like they're, you know, a people pleaser. They don't want to seem like they're living to be included all the time, when really that's exactly what people are doing. And it's been so glorified in this generation without people quite realizing it, because everything is trendy now. There are trends you need to hop on. You need to be up with the latest and greatest, the latest music, the latest clothes, the latest accessories, the latest makeup, the latest skincare routines. You have to be up to date. And I think that a lot of people are letting this control their life, and if they're not doing what everybody else is doing, then you're experiencing the fear of missing out, and it causes you to start doing things that are not even normally like you. So a few examples that could relate to you, you know, you're probably thinking, well, I don't deal with that, but just hold on, hear me out. You might deal with this in the most unexpected of ways. So on top of you always feel like you have to be, you know, down with the latest trends, you do sometimes feel like if you're not included in something, you just feel betrayed. For example, you know, you see a friend group that you have and they posted on their stories that they're hanging out, and for some reason nobody, you know, cared to call you and ask if you wanted to go and do these things with them too. Now you're feeling a little left out. Or maybe it's even the opposite. Maybe you are always down to do things with people just because you don't want to be left out, even though you know these are not things that you would normally do. Somebody invites you to a party and you know it's not really your scene to be at a party, or to be, because you know it's a whole panoramic out there, so I don't really know why y'all partying anyway. But you know you're not a drinker, you're not a smoker, you're not a partier, you're not, you know, you don't like to have fun in these settings, you like to have fun in other ways, but for some reason you still accept the party invitation. Why? Because you didn't want to be left out. You didn't want to be looked at differently because you turned down something that most people see as fun, and now you feel like people are going to look at you like you're weird. And this could even translate over into other things, not just like a party sense, but sometimes you're just so afraid to say no that you take on so many things that you begin to get overwhelmed because you want to make sure that you're accepted. This kind of leads into being a people pleaser, and that's a whole rabbit hole we're not going down today. But you're so afraid of telling somebody no, and you're so afraid of disappointing somebody, you're so afraid of people looking at you as if you're not reliable, or you're just so afraid to set these boundaries that you're willing to do things that are just compromising to what you are normally used to doing, just to be accepted, just to fit in, just to not be left behind. That is a part of FOMO. Now, the biggest one that I feel like these social media influencers are kind of lying to y'all about is you feel like if you're not achieving the same goals as other people, then you're a failure. And I really, 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 really want to get it through your head and to reassure you that just because you're not doing what people are doing on the internet does not make you any less of who you are. Half the people on the internet aren't even doing what they're doing. There are people who be pump faking, there are people who be copping and dropping, there are people who be lying to y'all on the internet just to get you to think that they're living a lavish life that they are not. There are people who are doing things quickly because they're trendy. There are people who are doing things, you know, like dropping brand new cars, and they can't even actually afford those things. There are people who are doing things just for social media. Why? I wish I could tell you. It's the life of trying to be an influencer. But the only thing that I can do, and I can tell you, is to reassure you that it doesn't matter when you get it done, as long as you get it done. Take me, for example. I did not finish my degree in 4 years. I know a lot of people who have finished their degrees in 4 years, and definitely the fear of missing out has tried to make its way in multiple times with me in my college career. There's times where I thought I was just going to not finish it at all, or there was just times when I just wanted to take the easy way out and do like a online fast-tracked course just so I could be done with it. But the reality was that's not the path that I was meant to take. I am going on now 6 years of being an undergrad. I took a lot of breaks, but those breaks were necessary for me to be successful. Those breaks were necessary for my mental. Those breaks were necessary for me financially. And I just knew that just because I didn't get my degree when I was supposed to get my degree, when everybody else got their degree, didn't mean that I was any less intelligent or educated as those other people who got theirs in 4 years. Honestly, I found so many ways to be successful without the degree that I was able to prove myself wrong that that degree did not define me, nor does the amount of time that it took me to get it. So I want that to kind of be the same for you guys too, is if you didn't get that degree in time, or if you didn't even go to college, that's okay. It does not make you any less of the people who are, you know, on Instagram with 6,000 letters behind their name. Jane Doe, BS, NBA, DSW, LMNOP, PPP loan. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You are not any less than those people are. Just because you see people are popping up on Instagram with a new house or a new car, you know, just congratulate them and understand that when it's your time to have those things, God is not gonna leave you when it's your season. When your season comes, you are not going to be passed by. You are going to experience the same glorious blessings, whether they're those things that those people got or whether they're whatever God has planned for you. Your blessing may not be a brand new mansion, but your blessing could be that you spend an entire week happy. You spend an entire week with no worries, no cares, your bills are paid. You spend an entire week where you're able to focus on you and do something that you couldn't do before. You never know what your blessings are gonna look like when they come, but I just need you to know that they're going to come. What other people have was not meant for you. It's not meant for you. What God has for you, you will know, and you're not going to miss it. So I want you to really, really like get out of the fear of missing out, because what's meant for you is not gonna leave you behind. Like, dang, I need to put that on a shirt. What everybody has going on, it's not meant for you. And a lot of people have a hard time discerning what a blessing from God is and what's something they did for themselves. So a lot of times people will do things that have nothing to do with God, and they'll just smack them on there like a label, like, yeah, oh my God, I'm so blessed. You really have to be able to tell when things are sent by God and when they're not. And a lot of times these things are nothing to do with God. They're and everything to do with the world and how you wanted this to happen for you. And God told you you had another plan, but you pretty much just chose to go with your own plan. Also, we have to stop thinking that just because so-and-so started a business before me, or so-and-so launched this before me, or they're doing the same thing as me, but they came out before me, I'm being left behind. I promise you, you don't know what's going on in their back office. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes in their business. Their business could be so stagnant. It could be the least profitable thing on the market, but you have no idea because they're coming to you through pictures and through social media as if you know they're thriving. And kudos to them, because obviously nobody's gonna get on the internet and tell you when things are bad. But I think that is something that is so not talked about, is the bad days and the bad times, the lack of sales, the dry seasons. People don't really talk about that because they want to just be seen as these influencers who are living the most luxurious life, that it just kind of starts to like mislead a lot of people into thinking that there's only one way to do something and it has to be good, it has to be perfect, it has to be successful, or else I just shouldn't even talk about it. And I don't know, it just all sounds pretty not true. But I mean, with all of that, like the fear of missing out, it doesn't have to really control you as much as it does for some people. It definitely does control how a lot of people live their life, because they live their life to please the next person. They live their life to please their followers, and they live their life to just be accepted and to be liked, and to be, you know, wanted and included. And I really think that if you can break out of that cycle, then you can do anything, honestly. I honestly can say that I did live in a cycle of wanting to be included on everything, wanting to, you know, be on the next best thing. And if I wasn't on it, I was gonna get left behind. Everybody was gonna become successful and millionaires without me. And I was just gonna be in a regular life. But honestly, a lot of the people that I was looking up to and I was afraid that they were gonna leave me behind, I've passed them. So it just goes to say, like, really, you can't take everything on social media as serious as people are making it seem. You can't take everything on social media and just believe it. Honestly, I don't believe anything until I see it, especially with social media, especially with influencers. I know that everybody is not as perfect as they seem on social media, and I know a lot of people are afraid to show who they really are and their real side, and they're afraid to be vulnerable. And I think that being vulnerable is such an important thing when you actually do want to be liked, because nobody can really truly like the real you if you are always pretending, always putting on a mask, always trying to be, you know, stronger than you really are, and always trying to be something that you're really not. It's just hard to develop real, genuine, and authentic relationships when you are carrying yourself that way. So honestly, like I said before, the best way to overcome this is to really just trust in God and know that when it's time for you and when it's your season, you won't get left behind. What's meant for you will not pass you by. You have to start being realistic with yourself. Can I do what I'm trying to take on? Do I actually care if they do this without me? Will I really just crumble and die if I don't do the next big thing? Will life still go on? Yes, it will. You'll be just fine and you'll be okay. And you'll be a lot more happier and at peace when you do things that really mean something to you, not mean something to your platforms. Honestly, just make sure you're thinking before you react. Make sure you really understand, is this something you want to do, before you just jump on it and do it. And also, you have to overcome the opinions of other people. Other people do not control what you do. Other people and what they're doing has nothing to do with you. Do not be afraid of what somebody's gonna think of you if you decide to do the opposite of what they're used to. This is your life. Live it how you wanna live it, and you're gonna get to the top in due time. The ending was already written before you even knew it. Y'all can listen to me one day, but just know that I love you and I believe in you and all that you do, and I hope that I will see you guys in more videos like this because I really, really, truly am passionate about talking about these things. So yeah, don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.